Good morning, Milton. How are you doing this morning? I'm doing great. I'm here with John Yurchek, just like Paycheck, this morning, with Healthy at Home in Carolina's healthcare system, along with my pal and boss, Hayden Soloway, this morning. Can't wait to do some Hayden's Corner this morning. And just really looking forward to a great show. This is part 2 of Avoiding Falls, maintaining your health, your wellness, and how to keep from, getting into a situation where you fall, hurt yourself, and all the perils that entails. So stay tuned for a great show. I'll tell you what, it's been an extremely busy week here. Hey, Milton, what are you doing this weekend? You got any big plans with the weather? I mean, just look at the weather outside. It's like summer all of a sudden.
I like we skipped spring.
It is. Back in the 70s. Well, spring has sprung. There's no doubt about it. So Hayden, you got any big plans this weekend?
Well, taking care of my dad. He's having some problems, and going to get him further working through those, and hope to get him out of there at a hospital. And but I've always got things to do. A soccer game today. Granddaughter's soccer.
Okay, that sounds like that's very important. Granddaughter's soccer game. And we've had a really busy last few weeks. We really have. We've had the 4-city tour we finished up with and then in Asheville, Shelby, Morganton, and Charlotte. We did a talk yesterday for the Lincolnton Senior Center. Love the Lincolnton Senior Center up there. We did some in-services and other talks maybe for the charitable YMCA. And we have more events coming up.
We have 3 next week. I don't have the list, unfortunately.
Okay, so we've got 3 coming up next week, and we'll put those out on our website if you want to know where you can see us coming up next week. But, hey, what about Hayden's Corner this morning? You got anything for us this morning?
My happy place?
Hayden's Happy Place. I'm sorry, we're changing it. Hayden's Happy Place.
There's so much bad news in the world. Sometimes it's nice just to talk about something that's uplifting. And
I've worn my presidential blue suit this week.
Yes, I was going to say you look quite distinguished.
Yes, there was something going on Tuesday in North Carolina. A bunch of people out at the different polling places. What was that all about? Just, I guess, voting for your favorite candidates, right?
They're the only ones available.
Yeah, okay, the only ones that I hear. Well, maybe not your favorite. But,
now locally, North Carolina, we have some great candidates. We really do, but we don't talk about things that have
politics on the show.
Yeah,
okay.
I've been banned from politics.
Right.
So that was one of the conditions that I came to work for Greg. No politics.
No politics.
Okay. So we can talk about that. But I was talking about. I'll tell you something that I want to tell everybody about. I have been a football mother, baseball, basketball, lacrosse, softball, soccer, volleyball, and cheerleader. So I have been to some cold and rainy games.
Okay.
And I found the neatest thing the other day. Can't remember, maybe it was on Facebook, I don't know, but it's a chair pod. And it's a little tent for a chair that keeps you 30% or up to 30 degrees warmer than the ambient temperature outside the tent. And it has this clear plastic kind of stuff on 3 sides and canvas, and it has a little cap that goes on top of it that's waterproof. Mm-hmm. I have sat in some very cold and very rainy sports events.
Right.
So I'm ordering that thing. It's like anywhere from $109 to $139.
Okay.
And if you're a grandmother or a grandfather and that's keeping you from going to the games, well, there's your answer. But they're great. And I'm going to get that information because I'm going to order one. And if you want to call the office if you want to find out about it,
okay.
I'll tell you.
Okay. So get a chair pod, I guess, for the games.
Yeah.
Great for a grandparent going to cold, rainy soccer and other games, right?
Whatever. Or fishing. I guess you could fish off one.
You could fish off one, I'm sure.
Sit out and read.
Sure. Anything else on your mind this morning?
Well, I was going to talk about a bucket list.
Okay.
And I wish I could remember what just stirred me to do that. I think it was the white trees, the beautiful flowering trees.
Great movie, by the way.
I would love to. The bucket list? That was good.
We should do a show that's just the bucket list.
We could. In fact, we could build that, put what I was going to talk about. It made me say one of the things that was on my bucket list. My bucket list grew not only to what I want to do, but I backed up and put things on it that would have been there if I had known about it and did it anyway. So I backtracked on my bucket list because I've had some very exciting experiences and opportunities. But that just reminded me I always wanted a flower garden, really a cutting garden, because I love flowers, bring them inside the house. So that's something I probably will never have because I live in a condo. But that's something that was on mine. And I always wanted a horse, and that's not going to happen. So I'll probably leave them on there. I don't think you should mark off things on your bucket list.
You just do.
Yeah. But the one that I do intend to achieve, I have collected shells from almost the oceanic beach in every state, just about. Texas, I know I don't have. And there may be one or two more, but we've always, my husband and I have traveled the coasts, photographed lighthouses, and picked up shells. And I just realized as I went along, I was picking up shells from all these beaches. So I set it as a goal to get one from every state. And I've gotten one from a couple of the Great Lakes, but that was one of mine. But I think it's important to have a bucket list, especially as we get older. Aha!
Can you be serious and talk to me with these sunglasses on?
I had to step back a minute, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
No, just save those glasses.
Save
Let's
the
save
glasses.
that for another show. I've got an idea.
Okay.
But anyway, I think everybody ought to have a bucket list. I don't think we ought to sit around and think about things that we might like to do. I think we need to do them.
Have you ever done that? Just sit around and think about the things that you wish you would have done?
Yes. Things I would have done and things that I still can't. I can't go skydiving now. I don't have the knees for it.
What
but I'd
brought
shoot
on this
anybody
thing?
that pushed me out of the plane.
What brought on the bucket list?
I think it was just seeing those flowers
Seeing
today.
the flowers?
These trees are gorgeous. They look like they're full of snow.
Right.
And they're all over the place.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them quite like that. And that reminded me how much I love to cut flowers.
Right.
Not from the florist, but the kind you get in your yard.
Yeah.
And I'll always regret that I didn't have
So
a
what's
flower.
your advice to a senior out there who maybe has some things that they haven't accomplished yet or haven't done? What do you think?
Do them. And you can.
But
look
you can
at what they
always come up
cost.
with a reason why you can't do them, right?
Well, you start a lot of my events. One of the things that you put on your emails and things like that is make it a great day.
Yeah,
Not
make it-
have a good day.
That's correct.
But and you do that. Sometimes you accidentally have a good day, but most of the time you make it. So if you start out, how many weekends just went to nowhere? You don't have any memory of them. You spent Friday to Sunday doing absolutely nothing memorable, sitting in front of the TV or cleaning out the garage. I think it's important, especially when you're dealing with seniors. My parents, I try to do something with them every weekend. Maybe not memorable, but something nice. Take them to dinner or something, and not just let the weekend go. So I think people ought to start maybe little bucket lists. You don't have to do a great one.
Start small.
Sure.
Just start knocking off the things, checking off the events. So everybody listening out there,
Yeah.
put
Because
down
we
your
can
top
do it.
3 things on your bucket list
See how you can
and make a
it work.
commitment to knock them out and get them done.
Yeah.
My bucket list, what is it? What do you think my bucket list is?
Expansion.
Expansion? Okay.
You would like to have offices in some of the towns that we have done business in. There are people there who wait in line for us to come back the next time to
Sure.
town, and we try to schedule them
So to be
in
able to
places
serve them,
there. Yeah, and to be able to serve.
that would be a
underserved
business goal, sure.
communities. Yes,
Only,
but I think that's.
yeah,
I don't think it necessarily. The fact that it's a business goal takes it off a bucket list.
right.
You know,
I don't
just
think so
whatever's
either.
meaningful to you.
Well, if you know me,
What's on yours?
what's on John's? John's, what's on your bucket list?
Oh, I think
You have to share with us. We're not careful.
some travel out of the United States, Egypt, Italy,
Yeah.
Greece,
I'm back.
the birthplace of Western civilization. I would really like to be able to get to those places.
That's a
Those are
really
great.
noble item to have. That's a really cool thing to have on your bucket list.
I might make
That is a
Italy.
cool thing, yeah.
I have a friend who's married to an Italian fellow, and they are going to buy property over there. Be bi-coastal, is that the right word? Or whatever. But
What?
anyway,
Did you what?
what do you call it? No, it's not bi-coastal. That would be like Atlantic and Pacific. But they're going to buy property in Italy and
Yeah.
spend part of the time there and here. So I'll have a place to stay. So
Yeah,
I'll
across
probably
the
make
pond.
Italy. But
I
those
want
are-
to.
those are pretty great.
I want to do business in Manhattan.
Oh, you want to set up an office then?
I mean, okay, that's fine. Let's do that. I've always wanted to like put my hands on my hips and look out over the surveying the scene. Look out over my domain and in the skyscraper.
Master of your domain.
Master of the universe. Yeah, that would be awesome. That's what I mean. You know, you watch those shows about New York City and all that. I love that area. We did a show from New York City not too long ago. That was
That's right.
fun. So I'd like to do. So I have done some work from New York. It wasn't from a cab. Though.
I suggested you ride bikes. I did not mean in traffic.
Oh,
you are.
I checked that off my bucket list. Don't tell my insurance agent that I did that.
Well, you
rode bikes in Manhattan traffic. So that would be on there. I'd like to skydive.
Would you really?
I would really like to skydive. Yes, jumping out of a perfectly good airplane makes total sense to me. And I've sailed around the world.
Now that ought to be.
I would like to go to space. Outer space.
I would too. I think I'm probably over the threshold age-wise.
I don't know.
I would.
Well,
if I give it
do
a
it anyway.
chance,
Yeah.
I might do
You
it.
know George Bush, Senior, skydives on his birthday every single year.
I did know that.
That's pretty impressive. So bucket list, that's a good topic. We should just dedicate a show to that. We're going to dedicate a show to bucket list. I'll tell you what.
Have people call in and what's on their bucket
Well, we're going to
list.
do that right now because I've got something I want to give away. Okay, 2 tickets that we're giving away to the murder mystery coming up at Don Gibson Theater in Shelby, North Carolina. It's a murder mystery. We have quite a few tickets. I have about 30 to sell, but I have 2 that I'm going to give away this morning. Okay, call in and give us your top 3 bucket list items. If someone does that, we will go ahead and give away 2 tickets to the murder mystery coming up on March 26th. It's an interactive murder mystery. Bring your significant other, and you will be. We bring down a troupe from Charlotte, and they involve the audience in solving a murder mystery. You'll be on my team, and we have won it before, and we want to win. We want to bring home the trophy again. All proceeds go to benefit the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland County, and I'm really involved in the Boys and Girls Club. Love the Boys and Girls Club. So go ahead and call in and get your murder mystery tickets. And without further ado, and Milton, if you'll let us know when a caller comes in. I've got an issue with my headphones, so I won't be able to hear them very well. But we want to give away 2 tickets. I have those with me today. Okay. And without further ado, let's introduce and get it right into the meat of our show, which is avoiding falls and maintaining your health. John Yurchek from Healthy at Home. How are you doing, John?
I'm doing well today, Greg. How about you?
I'm doing very well. It's good. Hey, you fixed it. It's great to have you back. Great to have you back. And, I've been looking through this amazing manual. Now, I understand. I had a breakfast meeting with Anya Workman with Healthy at Home on, I want to say, Monday, Tuesday, maybe Tuesday morning, and just had a great meeting. We talked about the Better Balanced Patient Handbook, which you and Anya actually wrote. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
That is awesome. And John, why is it so important that seniors are conscious of not falling or avoiding falls? Why is that even an important thing? I mean, I used to fall all the time growing up, and I'm fine.
So sure, we
I still fall.
We all go through that period of time as we're growing up. But as we age, it certainly can cause significant injuries.
Right.
A lot more than when we're younger, when we kind of bounce back from those things. And I think the injury on everybody's mind when you talk about falls is hip fractures, and how devastating that can be, and the mortality rate after a hip fracture, and the quality of life that happens after that. So the best thing for hip fractures to prevent it from happening in the first place, which is where that fall prevention comes in.
Okay, so prevent it from happening in the first place.
I was always expecting that the reason that happened was you couldn't walk again. I found out with my mother that it's painful to walk again. She's had 2 hip fractures, and it has caused her difficult to move her legs. So she's not bedridden, but it's caused her to not be able to get the exercise she needs. So that's kind of a different thing that I had thought about. I'm learning more about seniors.
Yeah, and that could set a spiral of events that people tend to be less active, either from pain or even fear of falling again. One of the number 1 risk factors for a fall is a previous fall, because people get fearful. They stop moving around. They decide limiting activity is the best way to prevent a fall, and that leads to increased ability and weakness which puts them at a higher risk at that point.
He's very good. I'm looking at the handbook. We're gonna have a quiz today. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
That's a
John.
surprise.
How many out of 4 people over the age of 65, how many of them, if there are 4, will fall each year?
It's 1 in 4, 25%, and there's some statistics that even make that higher to 1 in 3 people would fall after age 65.
Ding, 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 that's exactly correct. That is correct. So you just said one of them. So the true or false, the best way to avoid falls is to limit your activity, just to hang out on the couch.
That is false. And a lot of people believe that limiting the activity, if I don't move, if I don't get up, I won't fall. But instead, they become weaker, and when they do have to get up, because we all have to get up, whether it's to get to the kitchen, our bedroom, the bathroom, when they do get up, then they're a weakened condition and can lead to falls.
That is exactly correct also. It's like you wrote the book or something. True or false, physical activities cannot help you stay independent.
Is that a double negative? Let me think about that. Physical activities cannot.
You can rephrase it.
Yeah.
Physical activities, objection, Your Honor. Physical activities do not help you stay independent. True or false?
Physical activities do.
So that's
keep you
false.
independent.
Correct?
That is false.
Correct. So it will actually help you stay more independent the more physically active you are.
Sure. And we all lose muscle as we age.
That's the next one.
And it doesn't have to be the YMCA. I was studying this last night. It can just be mopping, sweeping, wiping off the counters. Even those things keep you in better health.
30 minutes a day of walking up on your feet, it has been shown to significantly improve your overall well-being. And that doesn't mean going for a 30-minute walk. You can time, all right, I've got to get to the dryer to fold clothes. I'm up on my feet. Now I'm at the sink. But if you actually time how long you're up on your feet, it's amazing that a lot of us don't even get 30 minutes a day. We're in the chair to watch TV, we're in the chair at a desk, we're in the chair at the table, and a lot of times with technology, we're not up on our feet the amount of time that we need to be.
Hayden, you know a heck of a lot about how to stay active. Are you active? Hayden the Hurricane is extremely active, right? So
Not like I should be.
not like you should. I think you're extremely active. So what are some great ways that seniors can stay active in our community, or in any community?
My friends play pickleball. It's
Right.
a modified form of tennis, different rackets, different balls, a third the size of a tennis court. So you're running short distances instead of, screaming across the court. So they sized it down, and it was actually created by a senior citizen. And we've taken the courses, the YMCA senior silver sneakers.
The silver
there.
sneakers, yeah.
And there's dancing. Some of my friends have taken dancing lessons over there, and they're just the senior centers and the YMCA's have a lot of activities. But just things like that can be gardening.
I've seen groups of seniors playing pickleball on vacation at tennis courts. They're just playing inside the small
Yeah, they just
lines
line
of
it
the
off
tennis
within
courts.
the tennis court.
And I've seen it at YMCA's in the gymnasiums playing pickleball. You could probably play it in a racquetball court.
Or bowling, or
Anything.
croquet.
Walking with your friends at the mall.
Yeah.
Around the mall.
A friend of mine and I used to do that. We used to do it every day.
Mall walking. So just
Shopping.
doing something, or just even getting up, making sure you're moving around the house. Maybe getting outside for a stroll.
That walking is the biggest part, whatever activity that you choose to do, because the weight-bearing activity, standing on your legs, your bones actually react to the stresses that are put on them. So if you don't have weight-bearing or use the force of gravity, those bones will become weaker over time, and it sets you up for osteoporosis. So if you do fall, then you're higher risk for a fracture. So any weight-bearing activity that you're doing, and walking really is the best thing. So whether it's gardening, pickleball, or you name the activity, as long as it's a weight-bearing activity, it will really help with your overall physical
stress. It puts stress on your system, on your bones, to stand up and walk. Period. No matter who you are. But if you don't do it, or the more you do that, the more, I guess, it keeps your bones denser, right?
Yes. Correct.
and less brittle, and can help make up for just the effects of aging, and turn the clock back, I imagine. So that's a good question, and you want to maintain that strength and flexibility as well. So at what age is it too late to start an exercise program?
Great. I don't think it's ever too late. Certainly there may be some health conditions that you want to run by your doctor or a therapist to make sure the level of activity that you choose is appropriate, but I don't think it's ever too late to increase strength, flexibility, balance. Actually, if it was too late, I'd be out of a job. So I don't think it's ever too late to become more physically fit and improve your health.
Okay.
There are some things, I'm looking at this handbook, and I have been through it. There are some things in there that would surprise people. For instance, how medication can affect your balance and your things like that.
Sure.
What are some of the others that are less known that people would be surprised at?
I think one that was, when we wrote this book, Anya and I, what was one of the statistics we found that was really shocking was an air temperature of 65 degrees or less at nighttime increases your risk for falls, because of the way your circulatory system works, and that if it's cool, your blood flow will go to those internal organs, so then you put your feet on the floor and your legs are a little rubbery.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
So that's right. And this time of year, it's warm during the day, and then all of a sudden it cools off at night, so it could drop down, and that's one factor that could increase the falls. And a lot of people I've seen at home, they'll have a kerosene heater or have the front room really nice and toasty, and then you go back to the bedroom and the icicles are hanging off the window because everybody's trying to conserve fuel costs, and that will put them at risk for falls, just that temperature at nighttime.
That makes perfect and total sense, John. You have some homework in your book that you wrote, the Better Balanced Patient Handbook. What are some things that, say, a family can do or a senior can do to see if someone they're concerned about, or if they're concerned about themselves, is a risk for falling? What's a quick self-test that we can get?
Well, a lot of the manual is based off of information from the CDC and their STEADY program, and I think that has got a lot of information for people. STEADY being STEADI, Stopping Elderly Accidents, Deaths, and Injuries. And anyone can look that up on the CDC website, and that's got a lot of good information to be able to look over and go over. But when you talk about falls and family members, I think that's the biggest key is communicating about it. If nobody talks about it and those fears aren't addressed, then it just goes unspoken, and no change can be made at all. So I think speaking with your family members, your physicians, and getting everybody on the same page, if you are concerned about a fall, I think that's the first step in reducing that risk.
And so you can go on the CDC's website, look at the STEADY program, and there's a self-test there, or there's certainly key factors there that can tell you if you're at risk for a fall, or a family member might be at risk for a fall. There are also some medical factors that can increase your risk for falls, which would be, do you want to tell us any medical factors, for instance, that might increase our risk for falls?
Sure, there's several. I think the one that is most surprising is a diagnosis of depression. And that goes underreported, undertreated in this country. And just the diagnosis alone increases your risk to fall by 50%. And that doesn't include that you may become inactive with depression. You may just kind of shut yourself off and stay put, and then over time become weaker because of that. But just the fact that you have a symptom of depression, or a diagnosis rather, puts you at 50% more likely to fall.
Do you know something that is extremely effective at reducing or combating depression?
Yes, I do.
Is that?
Medications.
Physical activity.
Physical activity, certainly, but if it is a clinical diagnosis of depression, this isn't pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
You've got that is a chemical imbalance that needs to be addressed by a physician, and certainly they can help with that. And I think a lot of our patients that we see, or seniors in general, they go through that depression just like you would the stages of grief. You're not grieving necessarily the loss of a loved one, but you may be grieving the loss of the health you enjoyed before. So the denial, the depression, the anger. But when you get stuck in one of those stages, that's when it becomes an issue.
Okay, okay. Well, very good, very good. And again, John, tell us a little bit again about your role at Healthy at Home and what Healthy at Home does for seniors, as well as how they can get in contact with you. When are you going to come in? How can a family use you? When should they use you?
Sure. So I'm the rehab director for Healthy at Home, and my job is to really make sure we have a standard level of care across all of our branches, that whether you live in Charlotte or Valdez or Shelby or Morganton, that you're going to get the same quality care that you would receive at any one of our locations from any one of our therapists. So whether it's physical therapy, occupational therapy, or speech therapy, we want to make sure all of our patients have that same quality and excellent care that we would expect from our own family members or for our own family members. As far as our services and how you would access those, typically it's through a physician referral, whether that's your family physician, orthopedic physician that you see on a regular basis, or you have entered the hospital and the hospital physicians would procure that order at that time. If someone was interested in an assessment without necessarily a medical problem, that would consider them homebound, because that's how Medicare or any other insurance provider would allow you to access home health, is you have to be considered homebound. It's got to be a taxing effort to leave the house. But if you did want to have a therapist come out and do an assessment of the home, of your strength, and you weren't homebound, you could either go to an outpatient facility to get an assessment done, but they wouldn't be able to come out to the house. The only way to access that would be to pay privately outside of the insurance costs that would be that your benefits would include.
Okay, okay. And Carolina, it's part of Carolina's healthcare system, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Carolina's healthcare system is an organization that has many different functions and parts, moving parts that work together. Isn't that right?
That's right. Last I heard, I guess we're about 55,000 employees strong.
Okay.
All over the two states of North and South Carolina with partnerships. Our division is called Continuing Care. So as far as your therapy services, whether that's inpatient in the hospital, Carolina's Rehab, which is an inpatient rehab facility, we have long-term care hospitals, skilled nursing facilities like Huntersville Oaks, Sardis Oaks, or Cleveland Pines here in Cleveland County for extended rehab, the home health division for care at home, and also our outpatient facilities where you could get your physical therapy or occupational therapy, speech therapy on an outpatient basis where you're going to and from a clinic.
So
you could ask for those with the doctor?
Well, each one of those has a different qualification to be able to access that type of care. And the physicians really direct that, along with the physical therapist, to kind of determine your function, your level of abilities, and what your needs are, and what setting is most appropriate for you at that time. So let's say you've suffered a stroke and you're in the hospital. That team of discharge planners, social workers, therapists, and physicians will get together and decide, can this patient go home? Do they need to go to Cleveland Pines for a short period of time because they need more intensive rehab than what home can offer? They're going to get therapy 8 hours a day type of thing, or are they going to go home with outpatient? So they really look at that on an individualized basis and come up with a plan with the family, with the patient, to determine what setting is best for their rehab needs.
And I understand that Carolina's Healthcare at one point just found it was very important and found a need there that the after acute care, if you will, when you're transitioning out of, say, hospital care, that wanted to be able to have a seamless transition into that rehabilitation setting and be able to do that in someone's home. So that was where Healthy at Home comes from, correct? Or where that piece fits in to the Carolina healthcare puzzle, right?
That's correct, and we're seeing more and more patients go directly home. With the technology that we have, we can set up monitors in the house that we can monitor vital signs remotely, keep track of these folks and what's going on. So that's going to be the trend in healthcare, really, is to get people home as quickly as you can. That's where they're safest. The rates of infection are reduced, the rates of complications are reduced, and as long as we can provide that care safely in the home, that's really where they need to be.
So this is Carolina's Healthcare, a large organization, but really looking at the patient on an individual level and leveraging resources to say, we're going to care from you from the hospital stay through rehabilitation and make sure you're doing okay and have the best shot to get back on your feet.
That's exactly right. We're talking about the best setting at the best time for the right reasons.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're trying to do, is to make sure our patients are cared for in the best place to give that care.
Okay. The Tree of Life, that's your logo and symbol, correct?
It is.
And it's a kind of a modern looking Tree of Life, which is really cool. And it has how many? Is that 8, 9 branches there?
I believe it's 8.
8 branches, okay. And each one of those branches stands for something, maybe? Is that right?
It does, and don't quiz me on that, Greg.
Okay, I'm not going to quiz you on that. I'm not going to call you out.
My orientation was quite many years ago.
But it does. You know what? We're going to get with Anya Workman, and we're going to get her to report exactly what those stand for. Okay? And we'll get it back. What's that? Tickets. Yes. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to leave those tickets for you. It's to the murder mystery on next Saturday night, March 26th, from 6 to 9 p.m. And it'll be a fun time for all. You can bring your significant other. We're going to leave those at the radio station. Somebody can call and pick those up today. And Hayden, do you want to say anything in closing?
Well, we've got some interesting shows coming up. One that's going to feature probably someone from your organization. The virtual visits and the technology as it relates to seniors and healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about doing that show. And then, let's see, medications, one just on medications and how they interact and how the number of medications you take increase your likelihood for, different things. So that may be a good show. And it may involve maybe 2 people, maybe a pharmacist and someone from Healthy at Home or something like that. We're going to have, I have invited the discharge planners and the case managers supervisor from one of the local hospitals to come speak with us, and there was some enthusiasm to do that.
Absolutely.
That will be very, very
discharge
interesting.
planners really fit into that piece.
Right, and we've got a fellow who's agreed to come in April from the Phillips Company, and he's going to show us some
Talking
of the
about technology and
medication
sure.
dispenser.
Medication dispensers. If you fall, it will alert automatically your family and healthcare officials to contact you and make sure you're okay. It automatically detects those falls. We saw some of that too.
Bob Davis with the TAC and local transportation system, how
Sure.
that works. I don't think very many people realize that most people can use this.
Absolutely.
But it also, is a Medicare and Medicaid kind of thing. So we've got a lot of interesting shows coming up, and one of them, Lynn Byers wants to come, and he introduced me to an article. I know we've got to go, but let me just tell you quickly. You can Google it, or have someone Google it for you, How Physicians Die. And the title of it is, I Know You Love Me, Now Let Me Die. And it talks about end-of-life issues. It's very hard to talk to your parents about how they want this done, because, it's just an uncomfortable subject. This is a great article. So I would suggest anybody read that and then tune in for the show. And let's talk a little bit about that, because that's something that we're all going to have to probably deal with at some point.
It's a very serious subject.
Very good article.
Absolutely. Can't wait to have Lynn come talk some more about that. I love it when Lynn comes by. Okay. Anything else? Yes. All right. Put him through. Sandy, what's your bucket list?
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome. Madame
That's
Tussauds.
fun, yes.
I've been to the Grand Ole Opry.
Let's get a bus and go.
I have an embarrassing story about the Grand Ole Opry.
What did you do?
I was very young. I was like probably 8 or 9. I can't tell it. Maybe
You tell me and I'll
I might
tell
have
you.
fallen asleep and wet my pants in the front row.
You might have.
I might have.
Well,
During the show. I was embarrassed. Go ahead.
I have some of those too. So.
Sorry, Sandy, go ahead.
That's great. I love your bucket list. That's cool. I had my picture taken with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mike. I'm sorry, Sandy, I interrupted you. What did you say? Yeah, I just think it's great. Just, create your lists and mark them off. Every weekend, just pick a new one. It might be go to Biltmore House, or it may be just go canoeing. Who knows?
Hey, Sandy, let me know when you're going to the Grand Ole Opry, when you go to Nashville. I'm going to show up. I want to come sing a country song out there.
Well, you're going to enjoy the murder mystery. We went to one at the Don Gibson last fall, I believe. We had a ball. People dress up in costumes. If you find out what the theme is, it'll probably be on the ticket.
That's
Get
another
your
embarrassing
costume
story.
and come on.
If you want to see another,
Greg, don't get started. That's another show.
Look at the front page of the Shelby Shopper this week. It's I'm on there in an orange.
What's Up Shopper.
I'm sorry.
What's Up Shopper.
Okay, yeah, I'm on there with an orange tux onesie on. Okay, it was a wedding murder mystery.
I have a mental picture
It
here.
fit like a glove.
Well, okay.
Sandy,
all right.
you have a great day. Okay.
Thanks.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Bye.
Thank you, Milton. Okay, we're going to sign off. This has been Greg McIntyre, the McIntyre Elder Law Report, and we'll be back next week at 10:15. Bye.
That was my favorite.
What was your favorite? Your favorite show?
Yeah.
What was your favorite show
I
ever?
learned a lot.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. I learned a lot. Had fun. Talked about some fun stuff.
You did talk about a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah.
I said I wet my pants at the Pro of the Grand Ole Opry. I did.
Yes.
I did. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was embarrassed because I woke up and my parents were like, "It's time to go." I'm like, man. I was like 8, 9 years old.
Oh, that's different. I thought you were talking about 3 or 4. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
No, I was a kid. I was like, I guess I'd been walking around all day drinking stuff, you know. Anyway, that's when I learned not to be embarrassed of anything,
Yeah.
right?
You lived through it.
So I wore the orange tux onesie. We found it at a thrift store for one of the last ones.
What's the name going to be of this one?
This was masquerade.
That's
So you put on your masquerade. You have mask. Are you coming?
Yeah, I got it
Okay.
going.
Okay. You coming? You and Mark are coming?
Sure.
Good. You
What
make sure.
about Mark if he's here?
Make Mark come, okay? Because we're gonna win this year. I'm gonna have like a table and a half myself, and I gotta go sell about probably 20 more tickets. I need to
The
get
trouble is the rest of the costume.
I wanted to do that. We just didn't have enough time. I need like an hour-long show. I think we're gonna start doing 45 minutes. We are. I think we're gonna build in 2 commercial breaks. Yeah.
Okay,
We'll talk
well,
about
2
that.
commercial breaks will
Yeah.
help.
Just
we
two
can-
2-minute
You
commercial
can kind
breaks.
of transition into, you have time to kind of catch up with what you want to do next.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we leave off things. We had a whole bucket list of things that we wanted to talk about today.
I wanted to talk about how to get up from a fall. I like that
Yeah.
list of how to get up from a fall. I like the
Well, he's
application.
given us permission to use these and print them, not the whole thing, but the
We
list.
should talk about how to get up from a fall. Do you have one of these too? Okay.
I got one that, the access meeting, and he gave me one at the last meeting, so
Right.
that one is now yours.
I think probably everybody out there is thinking about their bucket list right now.
I hope so.
Yeah?
I've had too many lost weekends.
Yeah.
You know,
But
that
you can knock
you
things out.
just stay home and not go anywhere. Go to a winery or I'm going to go check out Milton's store and, go back up to Arlo, Maine and hang out with the kids doing the art. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick something every weekend. You've seen the movie or the play Cabaret or know about it. There's a character in there named Elsie. And Elsie went out with the boys and she danced and she sang. And then the song Cabaret,
Yeah.
at the end it says, when I go, I'm going like Elsie.
Yeah.
Well, when I go, I'm going like Elsie. I'm going to have a fine time in my life. I'm
Good.
going to take my kids. I can get my husband and get excited.
I think you've
about
already
it.
had a fine time.
I have. I've
Hayden
had a
lived-
very interesting life.
Hayden lived on the ocean for about 2.5 years.
Lived on the sailboat.
Lived on a sailboat.
Spawn and the Bahamas and the Keys and
cool.
Florida. Yeah, it was cool. It really was.
Hey, John, thank you for coming by.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I enjoyed it. It'll be another blog post, and it'll be another video that goes up, and we'll get an audio recording of the CD now too. Okay.
Great.
And I think we have a newspaper article coming out in the Cleveland County paper on it too. That we chopped out about 750
Is that what you're
words.
doing this month?
Fantastic.
Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.